this video, we're going to show you a little bit about microbits and what they are and how to use these in your class. So let's look at a couple other ones. So let's look at this coin flipper. It's under games. So if I do coin flipper, we'll do blocks. We're going to create a game that flips a coin. So we have head and tails. So we'll click OK. So we're going to start with when the A button is pressed, and they've already given that is here. So on button A, when it's pressed, we want the if-else statement, so logic. We'll grab if-else, put that in place when the button A is pressed. We want it to pick a random true or false. So under math, we'll do random true or false. And microbit does make it nice to where that shape kind of aligns to where it needs to go and it kind of snaps. Now we're going to put a show icon on the if and else statements. So basic, we'll do show icon both here, and then we'll do a show icon here. So right now, if I hit A, it's going to have hearts on both of it. So we need to find something that's going to be our heads and something that's going to be our tails. So let's find something that looks like a head. Kind of like a skull. And then let's find something that looks like a tail. Actually, I might go by that smiley. That's a little more friendly than my skull. Maybe we'll make that the tail. So let's do the smiley face. And how about a sad face? So we'll, instead of heads and tails, we'll do smiley and a frown. So I click A. Gives me the random value of true or false. If it's true, it gives me the smiley face. If it's false, it gives me the frowny face. So randomly as I click this, you can see it will just select either the smiley face or the frowny face, just like flipping a coin. You can animate the coin toss status, a sense of it like spinning. So if we went to the show icon block and added something maybe before this, we could have it go maybe X, and then we'll do the same thing down here maybe. And you could add as many of these as you want to. Remember, there is that little zoom out button in the bottom, so you can zoom out here. And we'll hit A. And so instead of it just going right to the smiley face or the frowny face, it gives us that little X as it's processing. Now, there is this little light bulb, so if you do get stuck, you can always hit it, and it will give you an example of what this could look like. And in the example, they have 4 of these to kind of show you the roll, and then a skull, and then they use the square as the tail. So to make it more like theirs, I'll remove my 2 X's and I'll move these up to the top here, and we'll do something similar to what they had suggested, so having this little diamond pattern. So we'll look through here and find something. So that's it right there, I think. So we'll start with this one, and then we'll go to the smaller one, and then you could keep on building it out to have all 4 like they suggest, or you could just have it with those couple. So that's where you can get a little bit of freedom in here. When you click next, then you can click done. You can either download that to save on your computer, or you can download it to the microbit, but that preview will work right here. So that's a couple of them. Let's see what else we can find. I think rock, paper, scissors might be a good one. So let's go back up to rock, paper, scissors. We'll do blocks. We'll hit OK. First, we need to make a variable to keep track of whether we have rock, paper, or scissors in our hand. A variable is a container for storing values, so we'll click on variables and we'll make a variable and we're going to call it hand. Okay. We'll hit next. Click on the variables category in the toolbox again. You'll notice that there are some blocks that have appeared. If you watch my other video, we've made a variable before. We'll drag a set hand onto the block. Into the on shake, and we'll start building our rock, paper, scissors. Click on the math category in the toolbox. Pick random. We'll snap that in place. And we want the random value between 1 and 3, which is actually already defaulted there. We'll click on the logic category. And we're going to use the if, else. We'll put that on shake. From the logic category, we're going to drag this 0 equals 0, this one right here, and we're going to snap it there into where it says true. Click on the variables category in the toolbox, drag a hand block, and drop it into the 0, 0. So we'll do variables, we'll do hand, we'll change this first variable to 1. So if hand equals 1, then something is going to happen. In the basic category toolbox, we're going to do show icon. We'll put that right below this. And if the hand equals 1, we're going to show icon heart, which in our case is going to be rock. Let's see what they're calling rock. Let's see what shape they're calling rock. We'll just click here, and they're calling it the little square. So we'll go with that. Right there. Okay. At the bottom of the if, then else block, click on the plus sign. So we'll click this little plus sign. This will expand the code to include an else if clause. From the logic category, drag the 0 equals 0 right on top of that false. Then we're going to grab the variable hand, and this time it's going to equal 2. So if our random number is 2, instead of displaying this little rock, it's going to display a different icon. So we'll do show icon, and in this case they want us to use the click on the heart icon and let's see what that is. Okay, so they want us to use the bigger square, so we'll use the bigger square. Now let's do the last one here. So in the basic category, we're going to drag over the show icon, and then we're going to click on the scissors. Let's see here. Is there a scissors icon? Oh, there is a scissors icon. Okay, so we'll go here and we'll look for scissors. So the way that this works, so on our shake, we're going to have it pick a random value from 1 to 3. If a 1 comes up, it's going to display this small square. If a 2 comes up, it's going to select this big square. And because there's only 3 options, if that 1 and 2 don't show up, then it's going to give us the third option, so we don't need that statement up here. It's going to give us the scissors. Now you could change these icons to whatever you'd like to, and I think maybe the 2 squares are not the best icons that are in there, but we will go with that. So if I click shake right now, it will give me rock, paper, scissors. So there's scissors, there's rock, there's paper. We could download that game. We could save it to your computer, or you can put it on the microbit. So let's look at something a little more complicated. If I scroll down to turtle, we're just going to do a simple one. We'll do this little square. And we'll do start tutorial. Imagine there's a virtual turtle as small as an LED. You can control with commands. In this tutorial, you'll learn to use the turtle to draw a square. Okay. So the turtle starts in the center of the screen, heading upward. Place a forward block to make it move. The turtle, forward 1 step. Place a turn right to turn the turtle, and place another forward block to make it move right again. The turtle, turn right, turtle, forward. Oops. If you get that in the wrong order, you can just disconnect those and reconnect them here. If you add enough turn right and forward blocks, the turtle will eventually draw a square. You can move the blocks on button pressed, easy to run the code again. So we'll do input on button pressed. We'll move this whole code here. And that way when we press A, it will run the code. And we need to keep this thing moving to make the square. So if we kind of see here, we need to do it a few more times. So as a shortcut, we could take these couple, split them off, and then copy and paste them. So I'm just using Control-C, Control-V. Then I can drag those back in here. And so when we hit A, we can see it kind of goes around in a little bit of a square there. And we'll hit next. Did you notice the pattern of repeated blocks need to draw a square for using it for a loop to achieve the same effect? If the turtle holds a pin, you can leave a trail. So if we do turtle, we do pin down, wherever the pin is down, it will leave a trail. So if we do this and then hit A, oh, wait a second, my bad, let's do it top. And so that's how the turtle functions. Now if you wanted it to go around and make a bigger square, then maybe it would need more steps forward. So if we wanted to use a loop like what they were saying here, I could just get this loop, take it over here, and instead of duplicating all these, we'll just delete this. And copy this over here. So we need to turn right, so I'm accidentally erased that one, so we'll move that here. And then we need to tell it how many times we want it to do it. So if you looked here, they have it 3 turns, so that would make it across, down, back to the left, and then up. So let's try 3 and see what happens here. Nice. So there's our square. If you wanted to make the square bigger, you could do forward 2 steps. There you go. And so that gives you some of the introductory information for Turtle. You can play along with it. Remember that this here is to help you as well if you have questions or need a little help. And then you have the zoom in and out ability here. And also if you click, you can move your window around here. Click done. That gets us back to where we have all of the functions. If you do start a program from scratch, we'll just click New Project. We'll give it a name of just Test. We can look at some of the functions that are in here. By default, you have two different categories that it throws here. When onStart runs, it will run one time, whatever's in there, and then forever will keep on looping over. So if I just went to Basic, we did a show icon, and then I put this on, maybe that's like a giraffe or something. And then I go here to Basic and I add this couple more show icons. And we'll just maybe do this one and this one. When I first start the program, so hit play, it's going to show that giraffe for just a brief second, and then it will just keep on looping between these two forever. So once again, if I hit stop, and then hit play again, you'll see that that pops up just for a brief second. Now under Basic, we also have this clear screen, which can be kind of useful as well if you do need to clear the screen at the end of a process. But we can also look at this pause. So if I added that pause beneath the giraffe, when I start this program, you'll see the giraffe now stays up a little longer before it begins this forever loop of those two squares. And you can increase this a good amount of time. And if I didn't want it to go straight from this giraffe to these squares, I could use that basic clear screen. I'll stop it, hit play. Then it clears my screen for a second. If I wanted to pause again after I do the clear screen, I could do that as well. And so it's almost like the computer is booting up. My giraffe is my little computer symbol, and then it boots up the program where it's looping those two squares. Under Basic, there's some other functions. There's the string that just is going to scroll a piece of text across the screen. There's the show LEDs, which I showed in the other video, where you can just control which LEDs are lit up. There's also show arrow, and you can have north, south, east, west there as well. Oops. From input, there's a few different functions that you'll probably use quite a bit. On button, so if I click on button and bring this over here, right now it's defaulted to button A, so I can have button A do something. So if I wanted to have it show the icon of a heart on button A, we'll just click my program, it boots to the giraffe. We have the squares going forever. I click A, and then it's going to go to that heart. And then it will go back to that forever part of the program. If I want this to be on button B, I just have to drop that down. And now when I hit button B, it'll show the heart. And then the last function is this AB. And now if you notice over here, you only have an A or a B, but if I add AB, it will add a little third button over here so I can simulate what that pressing both buttons on the microbit would do. So there's my heart. The other thing to look at is on shake. We used this in our last tutorial we looked at. And so if you shake the microbit, you can have it do some sort of action. If I went to basic, we added another icon like, let's do a shirt. When I add something that's on the shake, it's going to add another element to my emulator. And now I can hit that shake button, and that'll emulate what that's going to look like. It'll show me the shirt, then it immediately goes back to the forever icon. Now if I just took this stuff out of forever and I clicked A, I'm sorry, I have it on A and B. If I click A and B, it'll show the heart, and it doesn't move off from that. There's nothing that's supposed to happen beyond that. There's nothing in the forever loop. It's waiting for the next action. Same thing with shake. If I shook it and that shirt was up and there's nothing in the forever loop, it will just stay on there. So sometimes if you had a program like this, you have the shake, you have something on AB, maybe something on A, you could use one more input to clear the screen, and that can sometimes be useful. So if I do this, go to basic and do clear screen, it could reset this. So for me, most common, if I had a clear screen, I would put that on AB. So I'm just going to swap these here. Okay, so I shake this. Let's just start from the very top. So I start my program, I see my giraffe, it pauses for a second, goes away, then it's waiting for some sort of action to take place. If I shake the chip, it's going to show me the little t-shirt and then wait for the next action. If I hit B, it's going to show me the heart. And then I've programmed A and B to clear the screen, and so that'll clear the screen. And now it's waiting for the next action, so if I hit shake, we can bring that back up. So let me move some of the stuff around. We'll make a little room here. Okay, so the next thing we're going to look at is under input. You can actually access this on pin. So down here at the bottom of your actual microbit, you see numbers 0, 1, 2, 3, and ground. And so if you have the little like alligator clips, you can do some experiments kind of like that soil water monitoring. You can hook it to a speaker, you can hook it to different things, and this will control how that pin is being accessed. So here's the soil moisture one I was talking about and the plant watering. You would just need a couple cables. There's also the accelerometer, the light level, there's the compass setting. It also can detect the temperature, and so that's a pretty interesting one to look at. If you have the version 2, one with the speaker, then you can have some sounds. There's also music, so you can play a melody. So let's go back here and we'll add that to our startup. So just our little icon giraffe there, and we can click on the melody, and you can have it just put the notes in there, and then when we start our program, we'll see the giraffe, it plays our little song, and then it's going to wait for some sort of action. Shake, there's my shirt, AB clears it. Now also built into this, there's some actual songs. So if we go down here, I think that's it here. So let's try this little song. We'll hit play. So it can be a little bit, there's a ringtone. So this might work a little better with some headphones, but there are some audio aspects. You can see that if you had the first microbit, that's how you would connect your headphones, those two cables, the positive and negative to the headphone jack. You just click the little alligator clips on there. There's also some stuff with tones and different things like that. So if you are in a music type of class, that can be pretty interesting and useful, and you can play with tones and frequencies. Radio, you might think of like, listening to the radio, but this is actually radio for communications. Once again, that's probably a little more complicated than what we want to do right now. We've looked at some of the logic and loops in some of the examples we looked at. You could use the loops for something to keep on repeating. We've looked at variables. There's all kinds of math in here. One of the things is you can click on any of these, and they have a drop down, so you can select, plus, minus, times, divided. So they are in here separately, but if you accidentally click the wrong one, you don't have to delete it. You can just select the right sign that you need there. So lots and lots of things to explore and look at in here. And if you buy any of those breakout kits, that have all that external gear, a lot of those will have tutorials as well that will guide you through using all of that external stuff. Now, if you go to the bottom here, you'll see that there are some devices that have got tutorials with them. So like if you had a meter or you wanted to do something with an LED, there's some tutorials there. There's also more science experiments and all kinds of things. Further down here, there's tons and tons of resources for MakeCode.